Okay guys, this is a very important image from which many questions can be asked. First of all, as you can see, this is the sacral promontory. This is called a sacral promontory. These are the ala of sacrum. Now, this is ilium, and this is the iliac crest. Okay. So first question which can be asked, highest point of iliac crest is called as iliac intercrestal plane, and it is at the level of L4. Okay. Second is the tubercle of iliac crest. It lies somewhat 5 centimeter behind, but you just need to remember that the tubercle of iliac crest, it is on the posterior, this side. Okay. And here somewhere it is not shown because it is on posterior surface, and it lies almost 5 centimeter posterior superior to the anterior superior iliac spine. But right now you just need to remember that this tubercular plane or the trans tubercular plane passing through these two tubercles, it is at the level of L5. Okay, and these are called as the ala of sacrum. Now next question which can be asked is that here is sacrum, ala of sacrum, this is your ilium. So sacroiliac joint, sacroiliac joint, it is a type of plane synovial joint. Okay, and the second is pubic symphysis, and we know that all symphysis joints, these are secondary cartilaginous joints. Okay, now see, one question I have told that intercrestal plane, it lies at the level of L4, and the trans tubercular plane, it lies at the level of L5. Okay, now see, this is external oblique. Okay, and this is inguinal ligament from the anterior superior iliac spine till the pubic tubercle. Here is the pubic tubercle, this is the pubic crest, and this is pubic symphysis. Now what you need to remember is that inguinal ligament, it is also called as Poupard's ligament. Poupard's ligament. Okay, and one more thing, this inguinal ligament, I have told that its medial extension towards the pecten pubis posteriorly or at the medial end, this will be called as the lacunar ligament. Okay, lacunar ligament. Okay, and Cooper's ligament is also an extension of this inguinal ligament. Apart from that, one more question which can be asked is that length of inguinal canal is 4 centimeter. I'm not talking about length of inguinal canal. Okay, rest I am telling about inguinal ligament. Okay, now see, or from here if we can see which question can be arised, this muscle, this is the piriformis muscle. Okay, actually we know posteriorly, as we can see, this is the greater sciatic notch. Okay, and here in between the greater sciatic notch there is a muscle called as the piriformis muscle. Okay, and this is supposedly this is a piriformis muscle. Above the piriformis muscle there are some structures which are superior gluteal nerve and vessels. So you can see here, this is piriformis, and the structures passing above the piriformis through the greater sciatic foramen, they are superior gluteal nerve, artery and vein. Okay, and below this piriformis what can be passed? Many structures pass. Okay, don't confuse the structures passing below the piriformis with the structures passing through the lesser sciatic foramen. Okay, so right now I am talking about structures passing below the piriformis. Above piriformis was superior gluteal nerve and vessels. Below piriformis was this sciatic nerve, inferior gluteal nerve, artery and vein, pudendal nerve, internal pudendal artery and vein, internal pudendal artery and vein, posterior femoral cutaneous nerve, nerve to obturator internus, and nerve to quadratus femoris. Okay, now see, as you can see that some structures are passing here. Okay, and this is the lesser sciatic foramen below. Okay, below the ischial spine. From here, some of the structures which pass, they are obturator internus tendon, pudendal nerve, internal pudendal vessels. They pass into the perineum from the gluteal region. Okay, so their entry will be through both greater and lesser sciatic foramen. Okay, and so you should remember that obturator internus tendon, pudendal nerve, and internal pudendal vessels, they pass through the lesser sciatic foramen. Okay, and these all structures like sciatic nerve, inferior gluteal artery nerve and vein, pudendal nerve, posterior femoral cutaneous nerve, nerve to obturator internus, and nerve to quadratus femoris, they all pass below piriformis but through the greater sciatic foramen. Okay, apart from that, next question which can be asked is very simple. This hip joint formed between the head of femur and acetabulum, it is a ball and socket type of joint. Okay, and here as we can see there are three foramina, sacral foramina. So from here a question can be asked: pelvic, I'm just repeating this, pelvic splanchnic nerve as well as pudendal nerve, both of them they have their root value S2, S3, S4, ventral or anterior rami. Okay, and what else can be asked? Here you can see this is the lateral sacral margin and here is ischial spine. Between the ischial spine and the lateral sacral margin there is a ligament called as sacrospinous ligament. It can be asked, it is related to which muscle? The sacrospinous ligament, it is a degenerated tendon of coccygeus muscle. Now coming coccygeus. From coccygeus which can be asked question: pelvic diaphragm, it is formed by two muscles, levator ani and coccygeus. Okay, now see, now we will see the structures which are passing behind the inguinal ligament. As I had shown in previous video that femoral vessels, they pass behind the this inguinal ligament. Apart from this, psoas major and iliacus, they also pass behind this. Okay, and pectineus also. So on the whole, psoas major, iliacus, pectineus muscle, femoral artery, vein and lymphatics, femoral branch of genitofemoral nerve and lateral femoral cutaneous nerves, they all pass beneath the inguinal ligament. Okay, here is the pubic symphysis, here is pubic tubercle. 1 minute. Pubic tubercle, what can be asked? Yeah, this we one more question can be asked from the deep inguinal and superficial inguinal ring. So I will show that in another image also, but for now I am telling that this is inguinal ligament. Okay, this is formed by the external oblique muscle. So here, as you can see, there is a pubic tubercle. Above and lateral to the pubic tubercle, there is a defect in the external oblique aponeurosis, which is called as the superficial inguinal ring. Okay, superficial inguinal ring, it is a defect in external oblique aponeurosis. It is above and lateral. 1 minute. It is above and medial to the pubic tubercle, above and medial to the pubic tubercle, and basically it extends like this is the inguinal ligament. Okay, and here somewhat is the pubic tubercle. Okay, and here is your this superficial inguinal ring. Okay, its length is approximately, which is not necessary for you to remember, it is approximately 2.5 centimeter length and 1.25 centimeter at the base. Okay, but you should remember that it is defect in external oblique aponeurosis and it is triangular in shape. Its two crusts are formed by, again, external oblique aponeurosis. Okay, this external oblique this superficial inguinal ring, it is also called as external inguinal ring, because we know that inguinal canal extends from deep to superficial inguinal ring. So entry is through deep and exit is through superficial inguinal ring. Now see, now the deep inguinal ring. Deep inguinal ring, it is a defect in fascia transversalis. I will repeat it in further images, okay, but for now I am just telling the important points. It is a defect in fascia transversalis. It is oval in shape first of all, and it lies, suppose this is the inguinal ligament. It lies somewhat 1.25 centimeter above to the midpoint between anterior superior iliac spine and the pubic symphysis. Okay, I am repeating, deep inguinal ring, it is approximately 1.25 centimeter above the midpoint between ASIS and the pubic symphysis, that is the mid inguinal point, and inferior epigastric artery lies medial to this. Okay, this is a very important question, often comes, its relation with inferior epigastric artery. Inferior epigastric artery is medial to this deep inguinal ring. Okay, and we will talk about inguinal hernia in next lectures, but for now I am just telling that there are two types of inguinal hernia. Direct and indirect. Indirect is also called as oblique. Okay, but for now you should remember that it is inguinal canal is from deep to superficial. Okay, and indirect inguinal hernia, when the herniation of contents in the form of sac, it enters through the deep inguinal ring. Okay, so indirect inguinal hernia enters through the deep inguinal ring. Okay, whereas the direct inguinal hernia, it lies straightforward through the deficient walls. Okay, I will discuss the hernia in detail later on also. Okay, and for now you just need to see what else can be asked from here. Yeah, here you can see this is between the lateral margin of sacrum again, and here is ischial tuberosity, medial margin of ischial tuberosity. Here is a ligament called as the sacrotuberous ligament. Okay, and here you can see the inguinal canal has been formed somewhat here. Okay, not shown properly here. Also you can see this is obturator foramen. There is a difference between obturator foramen and obturator canal. This whole thing, including this membrane which is called as the obturator membrane, this is the obturator foramen, and this membrane is called as obturator membrane, and this canal is obturator canal. Okay, which lies here, and through the obturator canal, obturator nerve and obturator vessels pass. Keep in mind that nerve to obturator internus passes through the greater sciatic foramen below the piriformis, whereas the obturator nerve and vessels, they pass through the obturator canal. Okay, so this whole thing was important in this image.